Hey guys, Shane here. Real quick before we get started on this week's video, I want to remind you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Do check to make sure you haven't been unsubscribed by YouTube, because it seems that that's been a thing recently, according to a couple of people who've reached out. Give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and let me know what you think. Now, on to the video. Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Trains with Shane YouTube channel. This video should get posted on the Monday before Christmas. So if I don't get to see you again, have a Merry Christmas if you celebrate it. If you don't, have a good Wednesday. I'm sure a lot of y'all have the day off. I'll be working because our job, our network operations center, is a 24/7, 365 type of deal, and I'm one of very few in that department that doesn't have a family and kids and stuff to spend Christmas with. So if it falls on my normal day to work, which it does on a Wednesday, so I volunteer to work it so that those folks can spend the time with their families, and I'll get a little bit extra pay for that, so I'll be able to blow that on some more trains or maybe some fish stuff. I'm moving the get this unlocked here, the little Cory cats. I'm moving them into a bigger tank. This is a 3.7 gallon Imagitarium from Petco. It's pretty good, but what you can't see is that back wall back there is a divider, and the filter is built into the aquarium. That's fine, and it makes for a nice compact system, but what I have found is that while servicing it normally, new cartridges or whatever, is no more difficult than a regular hang on the back filter like a bigger aquarium, you can't get down in there to clean out these the sections, because there's 3 chambers about, I don't know, 2.5, 3 inches wide, and you can't really get down in there to clean them. And when you do, you stir up all the slime and the muck and the crap that's at the bottom, and it gets pumped right into the tank, and that's no bueno. It stresses out the fish. So I've got a 5.5 gallon aquarium that I picked up, and I've got a standard marine land hang on the back filter, a nice light, all the substrates, everything. The only thing I'm lacking is live plants and fish. So I'm gonna stand that up. It's a standard square or rectangular aquarium. It's gonna be way easier to clean. This has curved front edges. I guess they're not edges, but the corners are rounded off, and you can't get a scraper in there real easy without making a giant mess of things. As you can see, it's kind of fuzzy looking on the edges because it's easy to clean the flats, but and this will eliminate that too. So that's just kind of an update on that stuff, which is why I might spend some more money on aquarium stuff. I just have to set it all up, make sure it gets up running and stable, and then I'll transfer all of the catfish over there. It's probably going to take a couple of months for it to settle in and everything before I transfer them. Also, I'm hoping to transfer to a new system that doesn't have all the little bladder snails. I'm sure you saw them along the back glass. I bought some plants from Aquarium Co-op online, and they came with a free bladder snail infestation, and I haven't been able to get rid of the little bastards. So we're going to be going with tissue cultures in the next tank to avoid that. So just, you learn things in a hobby as you do, like model railroading. So enough fish tank and aquarium stuff aside. What is this? some of you guys probably already know what this is. This is a locomotive treadmill for all intents and purposes. These little sets of rollers slide back and forth, so you can position them however you need to for 4-axle or 6-axle locomotives. You can buy additional roller sets if you have steam engines or DD40s or something that require more than 6-axle accommodations. I've modified this one a little bit. It was twice this length when I got it. And I think the reason being is because the rods here and all that are probably just all ordered in one size, and you know, it's fit for N scale and HO scale at that length. I didn't need anything way that long, and it was way too kind of cumbersome for my liking. These rods are stainless steel. The outer two are hollow tubes, and the inner one is a solid rod. These outer pieces are made of some kind of plastic. I'm assuming it's probably Delrin, but you know, it could be something else. It's just pressed onto the ends, so I disassembled it, broke out the Dremel tool, zipped off about half of the overall length of these rods, pushed it all back together, and we've got a nice compact-ish treadmill for my N-scale stuff. Comes with leads. Those get plugged into the end. Like I said, these tubes are hollow here for these banana plugs. So yeah, you plug it into your pack of choice, whether DC or DCC, and you can run this to troubleshoot or break in locomotives, because brand new locomotives oftentimes will require a certain amount of time being ran in forward and reverse. And you can do this without having to set up a dedicated track to run things around in circles on, like you guys have seen me do. Part of the reason I purchased this was to continue breaking in or troubleshooting that Atlas GP 40-2 that you guys have seen, that I've had some issues with brand new out of the box. It didn't quite perform as well as I think it should. So I'm going to run this in this configuration. I've just got this F unit here as a demonstration. One thing I will say, this came with the banana plugs on one end and kind of like a 2.5 millimeter headphone jack looking plug on the other end in 3 sections. And it wanted to power off of the lower two, not the tip. Everything else that like my brother has with these quick push connect jacks that have the screw terminals, power off of the end two, not the bottom two or the base two or whatever. So I couldn't use that, so I did what anybody else would do, is I'd cut that sucker off and I put a mini Tamiya plug on here. And if you guys have seen my stuff, you know that that's what I use for all of my track connectors. It's what the Roku Han controller uses, it's what Kato uses, and it's what I have wired in the other side to all of my other power packs and little terminal cables and all that stuff. So this will let me plug into my existing DCC or DC thingies. So yeah, that's the treadmill. I got this off of AliExpress. It was $30 something, not much. There was a nicer unit available. I can't remember. It was from somewhere in Southeast Asia. I want to say it may have been Thailand or Taiwan or Philippines or somewhere. It was fancy. It had what looked like aluminum castings and stuff like that, real cool roller bearings and all that. It was almost $200. I'm all about getting what you pay for, but I'm not about spending money on unnecessary extravagances in general. So for a lot less money, I picked this thing up, and so far it has worked out in testing. So, well, we might do another little mini video on this, but I wanted to show you guys this thing. I'm sure a lot of you that have been in the hobby for a long time either have something set up to perform this same function if you don't have dedicated track to do so, or you at least know about their existence. So that's that. Exit stage right. Here's what we're here to see. You guys know I don't buy a lot of brand new locomotives. I generally like to buy stuff secondhand for a couple of different reasons, mostly due to cost, and there's some savings that that can be had when buying stuff on the used market. The gap has narrowed a lot in the recent last couple of years, and brand new locomotives aren't much more than what some people are wanting used on eBay now. And it's not like retail entities selling on eBay. This is people selling used stuff that sometimes could be a decade old on eBay for near the cost of getting something brand new. So I decided that I was going to spend some money. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One was because I hadn't owned a Scaletrains unit yet. They seem to have a pretty good reputation. I generally was of the opinion that I don't need to pay for the level of quality that Scaletrains typically offers. You know, I don't need a $300 DCC and sound all of the detail locomotives. That's just not what I'm after in the hobby at this point. That being said, I do have some units that have all the fancy details and the wire grab irons and stuff like that, but those are usually one-offs that I had built for specific purposes, in which case I'm willing to put the extra money towards, because it's something I just couldn't pick off the shelf. You guys know also, if you've been a fan of the channel for a long time, that I don't tend to buy stuff that is outside of a couple of specific railroads, usually. Those being MKT, specifically, mostly MKT as it was in the late 70s and 80s into the very, very early 90s, right before they merged with Missouri Pacific, and by virtue of that, Union Pacific afterward. Kansas City Southern, again, due to the family connection, my great uncle, and I guess you could call him my cousin, who worked for Kansas City Southern and were railroad men. And demonstrator units, which you guys have seen on the channel, of course, as well. So, Shane, what have you found? Does it fall into one of those categories? Absolutely. One thing you guys also know, if you've been with the channel for a while, is that my favorite locomotive of all time is a diesel, and it's the EMD SD40. SD40 or SD40-2. I use them interchangeably, even though there are differences. You know, the frames are longer on the Dash 2s as built. There are SD40s that were converted to Dash 2s later that have the shorter frame still. SD40s, okay. That's my favorite, and it was the world's favorite locomotive for a very long time. And I have found myself an EMDX lease unit, and while it's not a demonstrator, it almost is to me, because it's got the General Motors logo here, and it's, you know, basically almost the same thing. You guys have seen I've got a couple of lease units, Oakway Leasing, because Atlas did a bunch for, I think they're SD60s, in Oakway Leasing and EMD demonstrator colors, and I've got a few of those that are lovely. And I think Athearn, I've got an Athearn one as well. But this gave me all the excuse I needed to spend some money and buy something from, or made by, Scaletrains. This is what I paid for it, 150 bucks. That was the retail price at Lombard Hobbies. They didn't send me this. I paid for this out of my own money with a little bit of help from our patrons and a generous thanks from one of you guys via a YouTuber hitting that thanks button underneath one of the videos and making a very kind donation. Thank you for that. I want to give a special shout out to my patrons, RC Harley and the Computer Guy. You guys help keep, well, I'd keep the lights on, but you guys help finance, to a small degree, these type of things. Otherwise, it would be kind of hard to keep stuff happening every couple of weeks. So, I've talked for 15 minutes. Let's get down to this. Again, first Scaletrains unit. Pretty nice, sturdy, big cardboard box. Looks like we've got some literature here. SD40-2 product manual. Nice. Looks like it gives us a little bit of introduction on the SD40 and some handling and operating instructions, how to remove it from the packaging, because that's always a concern when you're dealing with something that isn't your standard Atlas or Kato. Lubrication, operating instructions. This is a DC, not a DCC, so none of these things are going to matter here. I do have one of these in DCC as well. I bought two. And I bought the other one before I really decided to focus on DC, thanks to the sound box. So here's our guest. Nice big foam padded cradle here. Plastic sleeve. Honestly, this is indicative of what I see a lot in HO scale models. Let's see. I have not even had this out of the box yet. I did slide the box off and look at it and make sure they sent me the right one, but I'm guessing this hinges on one of these ends, or does it slide out? Yeah, it slides out. Okay. Okay, I got it. So pop this out. You would probably have to really mess up to damage this in shipping, because we've got some very lightweight, clear plastic, almost a silicone feel to it. I like it when manufacturers put that stuff in there. Let's see. We do not have anything screwing this thing down. So let's get her out. All right, here's our guy. What did I do with my Rick's pick? All right, here we are. All right, let's get you zoomed in. Looks like we've got a wind deflector here. Number 6347. Wow, look at that, isn't that a daisy? Looks like we've got freestanding wire grab irons on the short hood, on the front as well as the top here. What looks like not a separately applied sand filler cap, but obviously a painted feature. Looks like we've got separately applied windshield wipers. Our horn casting also looks to be separately applied. We've got a beacon on top. Nice turbo exhaust detail here with it being painted black. Our radiator fans seem to be it's not separately applied, it's separately painted, and what looks like maybe photo etched grills. Really good depth in there, you can really see down in there. Doesn't look like we have a pilot step here. Got an MU connector, air hoses, obviously separately applied. Nice detail on the coupler cut lever. Looks like we've got a Magnamatic style coupler here. I'm not sure if Scaletrains uses their own brand or if they use Microtrains couplers. Oh, looky there. You guys can make it out due to the lighting. See, the air hoses are numbered. That's cool. We've got our classification lights are not blanked off. I wonder if those actually illuminate. I'll bet they don't on this one, but they probably do on the DCC version. Looks like our steps down there. Let's get some extra light on the situation here. Is that a freestanding detail, or it looks like it is a grab iron or a step that may have been separately applied to the front of the box there. That's cool. Yeah, very nice detail. Looks like we've got some brake line detail on the trucks here. Shocks. Got our fuel level, our filler. Looks like some sander lines here as well that I hadn't noticed. That's cool. On the rear, more of the same. We've got our plow. Freestanding wire grabs. Lumber boards look good. Coupler cut lever, same as the other side. Was there a plow on the front of it? Yeah, there is a plow on the front of this one. I didn't take note of that. I cannot tell what that says. Oh, I forgot to see if we have our builder's plate on the other side. I'll bet we do. No. I mean, that's not it right there. It's just a paint splotch, and then there's that one sign, warning sign. No. Did the prototype? Well, the prototype would have had a builder's plate on it. This is EMD Leasing, right? Wow, no builder's plate. Unless it's, I mean, it would be right here on the cab, right? There's our little window for our sight glass for our water. Very nice details, but man, no builder's plate. That's different. Okay, well, that's the only complaint I've got about how this thing looks. What do you guys say? We get this thing over on a test track, see what it does or what it doesn't do. I'll see you guys over there. All right, we have made room for the executive portable switching layout, and we have our Roku DC controller here. I'm running it off of the AC adapter. Let's turn it on, pick a direction, and dial up some juice. Whoa. Guys, that's barely... I was that far in and it started moving. That's insane. Usually I'm halfway around the wheel here before something moves. Let's explore further. And I wonder that if I had a power pack that was a little bit fancier than this and had a little bit more of a linear ramp on the voltage, I bet you this thing would crawl. That's incredible. I'm ramping this up as slow as I can. No, it's nothing and then that. So that's probably a voltage thing with my my power pack. Wow. She crawls though. And then she stops, probably due to voltage drop. Yep, there she goes. All right, well, let's stop. Switch direction. Well, again, very little throttle applied. Yeah, and you notice once we get closer and closer to the power pack, it gets faster and faster. Definitely sensitive at that lower voltage. Let's go again. Whoa. She runs out, that's for sure. That's impressive, guys. I'm not sure how to compare that to Kato, which for me is the gold standard as to how well, a locomotive should run. My Katos don't jump off at 10% throttle like this thing did. That's nuts. Wow. Good job, Scaletrains. Maybe you get what you pay for, Yeah. That's mind-boggling for sure. So, I mean, of course, this wasn't a will it run in the traditional sense of the way I like to do will it runs. So, I mean, we were pretty sure it was going to. This was just kind of an actual review proper. So there it is, Scaletrains SD40-2 EMD Leasing colors. So now that that's out of the way, what else do we have going on? Well, like I said, Christmas is coming. Peter, the Alco Diesel guy, and I did a little locomotive exchange, and I made him promise me not to open his until Christmas Day, so I'm abiding by the same. Let's see. Still in the box. Very much looking forward to that. I know he's gonna love what I sent him. I just know it. So I put honestly, I was going to say that I put a lot of thought into what I was going to send him, but I didn't, because I immediately knew what I wanted to send him. If you know someone, or if you watch something you pay attention, you'll figure out what they like and what they're most into. And yeah, I'm hoping that what I sent him knocks that out of the ballpark. Yeah, because I just, as you guys know, I don't have any not like stepkids, because they weren't my stepkids, but you know, the boys anymore. And it's real easy to buy from my family, you know, my mother, my brothers, my nephews, stuff like that. But just having someone to, just a buddy, you know, to buy something for, you know, and just kind of be a secret, and you know, thinking you got the right thing for them, and see how they enjoy it. That's about as much joy as I've gotten out of Christmas this year. So, yeah, very much looking forward to his reaction to that. Maybe he'll do a Will It Run video on it. So the next layout idea / project that I talked to you guys with on, I don't remember if it was the last video or a couple of videos ago, where I showed that plan and had a little bit of discussion on that. I've picked up some things. If you guys have been around on the community tab of the channel, I posted a picture. I picked up a 4x8 sheet of that 1-inch thick pink foam, and I found, while not a 4x8 sheet, it's definitely got 24x48's worth of material, which is what I was looking for, you know, to do a 2x4 roughly layout. And it's a composite material, like I told you guys I was looking for. While not an aluminum core with fiberglass skins, it's a fiberglass honeycomb core with like a fiber board skin, if that makes sense, like chipboard. And I got it for stupid cheap, even with shipping included. I'm in it about the same as a piece of plywood, a decent piece of plywood. So I'm excited. It hasn't arrived yet, but if this thing is what I think it is and what it looks like it was, it'll be perfect to use as the baseboard for my ultimate portable layout. And I've got some ideas on how to double up that pink foam. So the whole thing may be, I don't know, 3 inches thick, but it'll be good enough to where you can get a hand on it and tote it if you need to, one-handed. Yeah, potential excitement for sure. Yeah, ideas. You know, my mind's been buzzing with ideas. I'm taking a lot of cues with how Steve's Trains builds his layouts as it pertains to wiring and controls and stuff. And I've got ideas on how to integrate that and make it to where it could be, you know, easily switchable between DC and DCC. So yeah, I'm actually excited for a change, which has been rare for me in 2024. So obviously that's going to be a 2025 project because I've got other stuff going on. But yeah, it's just I was excited to get going on it, but after I found that piece of material at the price that I did, because if you price this stuff retail, A 4x8 sheet of anything like this is going to cost you $300 before you get to pay someone to deliver it to you. And I found this sheet for, what was it, $70 plus another 20 something to ship it, so I'm in it less than $100. That's crazy. And it was just a spare piece of material that someone had, and they decided to list it on eBay. You know, I mean, sometimes you get lucky and find what you're looking for or what you need, and that honestly was kind of a weirdo not weirdo, but it's not something you'd look for to build a layout with, right? You just build something with probably a wooden frame, wooden plywood base maybe, and then your layers of pink foam on top of that. If not, just using a layer of plywood, smooth that, then put your cork road bed on, or whatever you use. You don't well, at least I haven't seen any of this lightweight honeycomb composite stuff used in layout construction. But as you guys know, one of my main goals for this thing is to make it portable-ish, just to where I can, you know, this thing right here, I can pick it up with one hand, stand it up, and lean it against the wall. And that's what I want this new layout to be as well. I had some guys, at least one, and I can't remember who it is off the top of my head. It was a great suggestion about using T-track modules. There's a couple of reasons why that won't work. One of them is that, well, one, they're too thick, and they'll end up being too heavy. They're expensive. Well, yeah, I mean, they're expensive. Let me move some stuff out of the way. I've got one. You guys see that? Of course you can't. I've got one down there. And while they individually are nice and portable, I've got nowhere to store a stack of these things if I weren't running them, and then I would still need a separate table or something to put them on. So that doesn't work. And then, like I just said, I want to be able to pick all this up in one piece, flip it on its side, and stand it up against the wall to put it out of the way. That's not something you can do with T-track modules. I mean, you probably could if you C-clamped them together, but it seems to me like that would still introduce like possibilities of the joints to flex and maybe come apart and be kind of a nightmare, even with as good as Kato Unitrack is at connecting and disconnecting. And I think it would still be heavier than I want it to be. So, yeah. Again, that was a really good suggestion, and thank you for making the suggestion in the first place. Part of one of the things I like most that doesn't happen as often as I'd like it to is engaging with you guys in the comments of these videos and in the community tab posts that I make, which doesn't happen often, but I'll generally write up a reply if you took the time to comment or have a question or something like that. So again, thank you for that. And yeah, also thank you to my patrons. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you to those of you who clicked on a random train video and stayed long enough to hear me babble for a half hour. So with that, I want to thank you guys for joining me on another Trains with Shane video, my first Scaletrains unit. it will probably not be my last. Just have to find things that they produce that fall within my own narrow list of wants. You know, my roads, my demo units, my units that I like. So, guys, have a Merry Christmas if you celebrate it. If you don't, I still wish you a Merry Christmas because I celebrate it. Have a happy and safe New Year. Don't drink too much eggnog. If you're getting coal in your stockings for Christmas, like I probably am, let's get together and fire up the grill and at least use it. So, guys, it's been a bumpy 2024 for me. And I'll bet it has been for some of you guys too. And I want you to know that you guys being there for me has been huge. And if you need to talk, you know, you can find me on the community tab. I've got the channel email address there if you need to reach out. Facebook, I really need to set up a better group for this channel on Facebook. The old Facebook group that I had set up, really, I didn't put a whole lot of effort into it. It was a new thing, and so anyway, well, that's another possible project for 2024. So if you need to talk, or if it's about the hobby or anything else, reach out, because some people are fighting battles that you don't realize that they're fighting. I have lost friends that apparently thought they couldn't take it anymore and made the ultimate decision, and I didn't know that they had gone that far, and I wish that I would have been there for them. So if you guys are having tough times and just know that there are, you know, people that want to help. We want to listen. You know, I'm going through tough times, as you guys know, still, after the breakup. But something I always come back to, and something I always tell everybody, is that no matter how much life sucks, the alternative is absolutely unacceptable. And that was a quote that I heard many years ago on the show Deadliest Catch. A man named Cash Seal was quoting his father saying that after he survived the sinking of the ship that he was on at the time. Yep, life may suck, but the alternative is unacceptable. Life is always a better choice, guys. So, if you're bummed out this holiday season, Uncle Shane is here to talk. So, anyway, that was longer than it needed to be. Guys, again, last time, Merry Christmas. Have a happy and safe New Year. To my Jewish friends, Happy Hanukkah. To my agnostic friends, have a good week. I hope you don't work too hard. And I'll talk to you guys in a couple days. Stay safe, be good, and I'll see you soon.